Hi, now this has been recommended to me, and the person who recommended it has actually improved with the use of this book. Now, it's Fatigue to Fantastic by Jacob Teitelbaum. It's £12.79 on Amazon, and this is the completely revised 3rd edition. It's a big book, and it does look a bit daunting, you can see, but it's actually easy enough to read, and it's more of a reference book, really. The chap who wrote it had CFS himself. He's a doctor, and he managed to piece back his health using the information that he has now presented in this book. And he also conducted a study on his research and was so successful in his treatment programme that he's gone to set up his fibromyalgia and fatigue centres, to which I will link below. Now, I'll just read you a little bit from here. It says here, if you suffer from CFS, FMS or ME, this book will provide you with the tools and information you need to move beyond fatigue and into wellness. If you are a physician, it will teach you how to help, often dramatically, your patients who experience chronic exhaustion, including those frustrating cases in which no treatment has thus far been successful. Now, all this information has been tried and tested on his patients. Now, there's a little bit here on page 14. Now, he describes his thoughts on the cause of ME, and he feels it's a hypothalamic dysfunction, which I think makes sense. Page 19 here, it talks of triggers which may have caused the illness. Page 25 here as well. Basically, it helps you put together an individual approach to your illness, covering the 4 main areas: sleep, hormone deficiencies, infections and nutritional deficiencies. He calls these the building blocks of health. The book will direct you to what changes you need to make and what supplements you might need. The sections have questionnaires and worksheets, so you can make it a more individual approach for your personal needs. There's a lot of information covered here in this book: pain, losing weight, natural remedies. There's a good section here, good advice here, page 49, if I can find that now. Now, this is on sleep hygiene, which is a big problem with ME. It really would be such a difference if we could get a good night's sleep. And what is interesting is this little bit here, which I'll just read to you, about the bladder. Now, it's a good tip because I know this works. It's about how to train your bladder, because I've done this myself and it does work. It says the bladder is a kind of like a baby. If you teach the baby to wake up to play in the middle of the night, that is, if you go to the bathroom frequently, pretty soon it will wake you up to play at night. There is a simple way to remedy this problem. If and when you wake up during the night and you notice your bladder is full, just talk to it in your mind, as it says. Tell it night time is for sleeping. We will go to the bathroom in the morning when it's time to wake up. Then roll over and go back to sleep. If you still have to urinate 5 minutes later, then you can go to the bathroom. Most of you will find that your bladder will happily go back to sleep. So, that works. You could try little tips like that can actually help. Another good section here is chapter 10. If I can find it. The mind-body connection. And he makes some interesting comparison here. It says, imagine calling an electrician because your lights do not work. The electrician checks all the wiring, can't find the problem, and says, you're crazy, there's nothing wrong with your lights. You flip the switches and they still do not work, but the electrician just says, I've looked, there's no problem here, and walks out the door. Now, this is what many people with ME experience, or fatigue syndromes, and he actually apologises here. He says, I apologise for the medical professions calling you crazy just because we cannot determine the cause of your problem. It is inappropriate and cruel. I actually find that quite encouraging to hear that from a doctor. Okay, now it also talks about depression, which is page 251, if I can find it, and how ME depression is different and is through frustration, of which I know this is true. It says here, CFS patients usually have a lot of interest and are frustrated by their lack of energy. However, if you have depression that causes fatigue, you probably have few interests. So it does make the difference between the two there. Now, I'm under a nutritionalist, so I'm following her advice regarding supplements and nutrition. But she has actually recommended I take the meal drink that this chap has put together himself, which is this. The Fatigue to Fantastic Energy Revitalization System. I've done a video on this and I'll put a link to it below. So this is recommended by professionals. Now, it isn't easy to nurse ourselves out of ME on our own, but a book like this is certainly a useful tool to help us to do so, and it's all about putting together whatever we can to help us. Well, thank you for watching.